Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your host, Anthony Floyer, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher, the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, the Twisted Angel, Didi Woodson, awaiting the presence of the Phenom Michael Bullock. We'll see if he joins us. If he does, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll hopefully have him Wednesday night on Wednesday Night Mayhem. Big night tonight, as every Monday for the rest of this calendar year, Monday Night Raw will be going head-to-head with Monday Night Football. And it started with the Monday Night Football doubleheader tonight. And oh my, did they have a lot to counteract with. And let's get into this. Couple things here. A lot happened here tonight. Really did. And it actually started on at the commentary table. You notice for the second week in a row, no Tom Phillips. Michael Cole sitting in for him. But wait, there's more. No Samoa Joe this evening. Dolph Ziggler sat in for him for a little bit. And then MVP took over for a little bit. So definitely something that we definitely need to keep an eye on. No question about that. Hope everything is okay. But anyways, let's get into this. Monday Night Raw, as always, from the Thunderdome in Orlando. And we started off with the WWE Champion, Drew McIntyre. He cuts a promo, and Drew gets interrupted by, of all people, Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce, the former ROH legend, who MF knows his story. And he's now the newest authority figure in WWE because he's had some moments on both Raw and SmackDown. But he interrupts Drew and informs him, Randy Orton, could he be if Randy Orton is well, here's the thing, Drew McIntyre challenged Randy Orton for a WWE Championship ambulance match. A match we have not seen in a very long time. I'll look into that in just a moment. But first, what happened here was Adam Pearce informed the champ that if Randy Orton is unable to compete, then if Keith Lee beats Drew McIntyre in their match later this evening, Keith Lee would earn the right to face Randy Orton would earn the right to face Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Keith Lee comes out. They have a nice little exchange, and that's really all of it. So, wow. While it is always preferable, well, for me anyways, well, for all of us, while it is always preferable to start with a wrestling match over a windbag talking segment, McIntyre has been a consistently excellent promo since becoming champion. This was a strong, fiery speech from the WWE champion on what it means for him to be the champion. The segment also added complications to the night. McIntyre versus Lee was an exhibition match before, but this wrinkle made it a huge contest. While Orton versus McIntyre has to happen, a victory by Lee means he will eventually get a title match. So, a very interesting way to start this show off here tonight. So MF, what did you think of the bomb that was dropped by your old buddy, Mr. Pierce there?
It was pretty big. It was substantial, and it was a pretty awesome way to start off Monday Night Raw. No doubt about it. With Adam Pearce showing up, like you said, now the big authority head for WWE, and he's doing the role pretty well. He's still a little wet behind the ears. I think we all can admit with that, but he was very solid. He did a good job. But this segment was meant for Keith Lee and for Drew McIntyre, and I love the fire and the passion that both men brought. I think it gave us, it whetted our appetite for what the match was going to be later in the evening, and we'll talk about that when we get there. So nothing more to add. Solid segment. Didi, it's yours.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It was a solid segment, so I'm not going to add anything else. You guys pretty much covered it. So cheers, Florio.
All right, and we move on to our first match of the night, and this was one of the 4 big main events that was being heavily promoted on this show here tonight. And this was the one that MF and I had the most vested interest in, because this was Raw versus SmackDown. Raw Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, squaring off against the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. When all was said and done, winners of the match in an even 9.5 minutes, it's the Street Profits. Street Profits win the match. MF, I'm sorry, but I got to do this to you. Survey says one more for the good guys.
Yeah, and you can get 250 with that that Happy Meal along with it too. Anyway, so yeah, look, it was a solid match. It was a good battle. I wonder what the logic is. I obviously I get it. You want to make it a big show. You're counteracting with Monday Night Football. No problem with that. I think the way that it was executed was fine. The match was good. Good body, good storytelling, everything else. So this was about a 2.5 to 3 star match. This was about a 3 star match, no doubt about it. Profits definitely probably needed the win more than Cesaro and Nakamura, but I know there's going to be a lot of them in the IWC that's going to be flipping out tonight about why did not Nakamura and Cesaro go over. They're more better workers than the Street Profits, but the Street Profits are a good tag team. They're a pure tag team. I think that's the other thing. Pure tag team has to win matches. They got it. They won it. I'm not going to argue with that. So, I mean, it goes 2 ways on that one. It's a 2-way street, but the right team won. So, props to Monday Night Raw. They get the victory here tonight. That's just one battle, and it looks like the night was not done because another SmackDown individual showed up, and let's just say he terrorized Raw tonight. So, but we'll talk about that in a little while. Didi, it's yours.
Yeah, this was a good match. I'm going to give about 3 stars. I mean, these guys did a pretty good job. A lot of back and forth here, a lot of really great action, and they both teams showed why they're each brand's champ tonight. So yeah, this was a really well done match. So I don't really have that much more to add to. So it's yours, Florio.
Yeah, solid 3 stars. On a night expected to be loaded with great wrestling, and it was. This contest started the show off on solid footing. The action from both sides was good, though Cesaro clearly carried the action. The Swiss Cyborg was a human highlight reel in a way no one else can be. It's a shame that the new tag team lost. Cesaro and the Artists are still finding their footing as a unit and could have used the opportunity to define themselves as champions. But the Street Profits have so much momentum that one loss would not have hurt them. But hey, I'll take it. You know me. So score one for the good guys, like I said. So we'll have to wait and see. So
Geico is now offering an extra
excuse me 1 second.
Motorcycle policies. Wow. So what are you waiting for? Adina Menzel to sing your
Excuse me. And I do apologize for that. Pop-up video came up on my end. So anywho, let's get back into this now. A lot of backstage stuff, and then we get into our next matchup. Cedric Alexander, his first singles match as a heel since aligning with the Hurt Business. He went up against his former partner and friend Ricochet. Cedric Alexander wins the match, 8 minutes 25 seconds. Didi Woodson, fun little sprint here, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it was a fun little sprint. It was kind of nice to see, them now taking their new roles, because this was a pretty good showcase of how Alexander can be the heel, and it went very well. So I'm going to probably give it about 2 stars. It was a good match, so I'm not going to say anything else. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah, it was good, but I felt it could have been a little better. Despite the talent in the ring, it was a mostly flat segment and match. Due to the rushed overuse of the Hurt Business the previous week, it was not necessary for either side to talk this week. It was just a time sink with a few bad speakers at the head. The uninteresting explanation by Alexander led to a surprisingly weak match. Alexander and Ricochet did not seem to be on the same page in moments. When they were, the match was not nearly as heated as it should have been. But, it was okay for what it was. I'm going to give this a solid 2.25, 2.5 for the effort. So nothing more to say. MF, for the most part, it was a fun little sprint, but I think it could have been better.
Could have been better, no doubt about it. It was a decent little sprint, 2 stars for me. And yeah, I don't know, guys. There was some rumors going around about WWE cutting talent and that some guys are going to be let go very soon. I hate to say this, man, but I think Ricochet might be on his way out. I honestly think so. This just hasn't been that big success or whatever you want to call it for him. He had a nice little run, but I don't know. There's been some rumors going around that Ricochet's name being popped up about possibly being let go, or that he might be asking for his release very soon. From what I'm hearing, he's not very happy right now, and I don't blame him. From where he was, basically one of the biggest names from around the world, big name in the independent circuit, unbelievable in NXT, and now he's gone to the main roster, and unfortunately, he's been caught in purgatory, so there's really nothing more to add here. It's just a little disappointment, so 2 stars, nothing more to say. Anthony, let's move on.
Yeah, damn shame about Ricochet, man. Here's another guy who has been criminally underutilized. I mean, yes, they did give him a run as a United States heavyweight champion last year, but that was a cup of coffee run, let's be realistic. And yes, he had his moments in NXT, winning the North American Championship from Adam Cole at one of those Brooklyn takeovers a couple of years ago and whatnot. But, here's a guy, MF, you said it, big star all over the world, including Lucha Underground when he was Prince Puma, former champion down there. And, it's just a damn shame. Great talent being wasted.
Yeah, and there was a funny moment. It was in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, which is out in California, and Ricochet didn't have his mask on, but he still had his Prince Puma tights, and there was a funny skit. I don't want to say it was campy comedy, because Pro Wrestling Guerrilla is not campy comedy at all. Like, they had the likes of the Young Bucks, they had Adam Cole in his prime, they had Kevin Steen in his prime. So this was like a legit major company under independent wrestling organization. But these are guys that you would see in like Impact, WWE. A lot of them are right now in AEW. And there was even some guys from New Japan that used to wrestle in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. So, I'm just going to take a moment. So, there was this guy, I think it was BJ Whitmer, who's from Ring of Honor, who used to be in Ring of Honor. And he saw Ricochet, and he looks at him, and he's looking at him, he's like, "You're that guy. You're that guy from the Lucha Underground. You're Prince." And then he wanted to say Prince Puma, and Ricochet's like, "No. I'm not that guy. You don't know. No, I'm not that guy. No, you got me confused with somebody else." He's like, "No, you're that guy. You're that guy." The crowd made the moment so incredible. If you find it on YouTube, Watch that clip. It's hilarious. The fans are like, no, he's not. No, he's not. So, oh man.
Okay.
So yeah, nothing. Just wanted to take a second
Yeah.
away, but yeah,
Yeah.
let's go back. It's yours,
Yeah.
Loya.
Okay, no problem. So let's get into the next of our big four matches of this evening. The Raw Women's Championship matchup. Asuka defending against Mickie James. Winner of the match in 11 minutes and 50 seconds, and still the Raw Women's Champion. It is the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. And then after the match was over, hello, what's this? Zelina Vega? Zelina Vega shows up and throws her hat into the ring. Okay, whoa, oh my. Wow. 3 to 3.25 stars. Mickie and Asuka could not find the same magic in the ring that they had upon the veterans' return to WWE. You remember they had that great match at TakeOver Toronto in 2016. But this was sloppy and hard to follow. Commentary repeatedly called out the missed moves. Mickie just seemed out of sorts, which might have led to the odd finish. But Zelina Vega's arrival was a nice surprise. She has spent far too long as a manager. It's time to see what she can do on her own. And while it is very hard for all of us to believe that she could dethrone the Empress of Tomorrow, a strong showing at Clash of Champions could pave the way. Now, the three of us, myself, MF, and Didi, we know what Zelina Vega is capable of. We've known her since her days in Impact Wrestling when she was known as Rosita, as part of that stable with Sean Hernandez, Anarquia, and Sarita, known as Mexican America. And she put on some solid matches down there. Now we're going to finally get to see her in a WWE ring. I mean, well, she has wrestled before, but not anything like this. And I'm thrilled. I can't wait to see it. I'm very intrigued. How many times have we seen female wrestlers go from manager to wrestlers? Trish Stratus, prime example. Started as a manager, became a wrestler. Rest is history. 7-time women's champion. She's in the WWE Hall of Fame. You could say the same for Lita. She started as a manager. She became a wrestler. Multi-time women's champion herself. Also a Hall of Famer. So I don't know if it's going to go that far for Zelina Vega. I mean, you never know. But all I know is I'm very intrigued. And it looks like Asuka might have her next challenger for the Raw Women's Championship. That fiery, that Spitfire, that spunky Spitfire that MF loves so much. So, and I know nobody is going to be more thrilled for her than he is. So, but anywho, 3 to 3.25 stars for the match. One of the top fights of the night, even though it was not as good as their match in Toronto 4 years ago. So, really nothing more to say except MF. It looks like Zelina Vega is making the transition from manager to wrestler. How about it?
She's been, like you said, she's been wrestling for a number of years and everything else. But this is a huge step for her. And I don't know. This is going to be very interesting. She's got the capabilities. She can definitely wrestle. And given the opportunity, she definitely could become a big player in the Raw Women's division. Now, I think, honestly, we all can agree she's definitely the underdog going up against Asuka. And many people will say Asuka is going to beat her and defeat her easily. Well, don't underestimate the heart of a champion, or don't estimate the fight in an individual, because Zelina is a feisty, tough Latina, and that's what she definitely is. Puerto Riqueña, y'all, and she will bring that fight to you. That's gonna be very interesting to see. We're gonna have to wait and find out how it plays out. But let me tell you guys, this will be very, very, very interesting and a fun match if this does come out and delivers in a way that we hope for. As far as the Raw Women's title fight here tonight, I agree, 3 stars. It was bad in certain areas. I think a lot of people thought it was going to be better in certain ways. You know, the body of work, this and that, blah 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 blah. It in some areas it did not work out. It didn't deliver the way it was supposed to. But you know, you can't fault the women. Sometimes it's bad. You know, sometimes there's those bad moments, but you can't fault them for it. They did what they could do. They did their best. I give them credit where credit's due for at least making this an okay match. Nothing more to say. So, Dee Dee, welcome back. It's yours.
So we're still in the Mickey James match.
Yeah.
Okay. So what'd you guys rate it since I stepped away?
3 3.25.
Yeah, that sounds about right for me too. Yeah, it just really was a kind of a lackluster match. You know, there just really wasn't much there to talk about. I mean, they tried and everything, but it just, I think it was a little bit more of a flop. So yeah, it just wasn't the best in the world for these girls. So. And then you have Zelina come out. So it looks like she's put Asuka on notice. And we all saw the writing on the wall, her little stable falling apart. So now we have her as in her singles run starting. So we'll see how that works out. So not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Florio.
All right. Well, we haven't called any cutouts so far. That is until now. And I do believe if this is what I think it is, well, actually, no. This was actually a decent show, and I'll tell you what. It's a good show. It's a more than good and decent show when you have only 2 cutouts on the night. And this is one of them. It was the United States Heavyweight Champion Bobby Lashley, non-title match against Eric of the Viking Raiders. Bobby Lashley squashes him in 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Yeah, you knew this was always going to be a squash, but at least it had some story behind it. MVP hyped up the Almighty as the CEO of the Hurt Business, destroyed a thorn in their side. It'll be interesting to see who steps up to Lashley at Clash of Champions. He needs fresh competition. Apollo Crews and Lashley might have another good match in them, but it would be nice to see the opportunity go to someone else, at least for one show. Ricochet. So, but you never know. You never know. We'll see. But anywho, moving on. All right. Normally, when I see Raw Underground stuff, I usually bypass it, but we're not bypassing it tonight. Because I know MF wanted to get into this because, well, oh, okay. Now I know why he wanted to get into it. One of his biggest stars from Friday Night SmackDown, the former Universal Champion, the monster among men, Braun Strowman. He showed up out of nowhere, and he started beating up guys left to right. That was until Dabo Kato came in and Shane O'Mac saying, oh no, not tonight. We're saving this sucker for next week, which I think is a great move, considering that next week is the night that will mark the legitimate, to the day, 50th anniversary of Monday Night Football. And we need something to counteract that, because it's a big-time matchup with the New Orleans Saints and the Las Vegas Raiders at the Las Vegas Raiders' beautiful new stadium in Las Vegas. And we can't wait to see how that looks, but Braun Strowman's going to fight Dabo Kato in Raw Underground next week. But MF, I mean, you said you wanted to get into this. So how did your former Universal Champion look in the Underground tonight?
He looked good. That was destruction upon destruction. That's what you're supposed to do as a monster of a big man. And then Cavalcado showed up and wanted it a piece of the monster among men. Braun, do me a favor. Crush this little twig next week. Show Monday Night Raw who the more superior brand is. SmackDown Live, even though that's a big mother, he is. He's a big dude, and I'm glad Shane O'Mac jumped in and said, this ain't happening tonight. You whetted the appetite of everybody for next week's show. That's gonna be a horse fight. Be a man, reinforce that ring, or reinforce that little area that you're gonna be, because somebody might get put through the wall next week. That could be a fight and a half, man. Somebody's gonna get hurt, and I'm gonna love it, man. That's gonna be one hell of a battle. So for once, Raw Underground gives us something that we're gonna get excited for. Normally, 9 times out of 10 would be like, who cares? This might be must-see TV next week, guys. This could actually be good. I'm excited.
Yes, indeed. And it is good that WWE is keeping Raw Underground fresh with new faces, but it would be nice to see more than 30-second brawls. Strowman certainly has a memorable aura in Raw Underground, but he should not just embarrass the others who have been built in the unique setting. Riddick Moss has been portrayed as dominant until now. This is similar to the way that the Hurt Business immediately cut down Dolph Ziggler's rebuild in Raw Underground. There needs to be some separation between the main roster talent and the Raw Underground stars. The only positive was the potential that Dabba-Kato might get something out of this next week. Next week, maybe Strowman won't dominate everyone. So, definitely something to think about there. So, all right. Now let's get into our next big match. This is the third of the big 4 main events tonight. Steel cage match. The Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins, squaring off against Dominic Mysterio. Seth Rollins wins the match in an even 12 minutes. And I believe it's MF who starts off on this, because that was more of an open forum thing, because that was something he wanted to address personally. So, but MF, Rollins and Dominic inside the cage. They stole the show at SummerSlam. Did they steal it again tonight? Or what do you say?
I think they did pretty well. I don't think they stole the show, but they definitely did one hell of a job. That was a really good match. Okay, I don't know what the hell that was about, but no, I thought they did a really good job. I thought this was a solid match. It was a very good battle, and yeah, I'm gonna give this about 3 stars. I thought it was solid. I hope this is the end of the storyline now. I mean, Dominic Mysterio deserves to move on from this battle. I kind of wish Dominic would have won it just to end it, but maybe now that we got this as the end, it's time that they move on. I was kind of hoping, you know what? One thing I was hoping for, and I'm going to be real honest with you, I was kind of hoping to see Buddy Murphy come out and cost Seth the match, so that we could have Rollins versus Murphy one-on-one, and then Dominic can move on to whatever he needs to do. So, I mean, you don't want to pigeonhole the kid and put him in a storyline, even though it's with Seth Rollins, but you don't want to pigeonhole him where he can't move out, where there's no direction for him. That's one thing I'm afraid of, is that he's getting pigeonholed in this storyline, even though it's been good for him and it's a great introduction for him. I think it's time that you move him on to equal or better talent. That's just my thoughts. Didi, it's yours.
Yeah, I pretty much can kind of agree with all that. So I'm not really going to add too much more. So it's yours for you.
I would say by default, this was the fight of the night. I'm going to give it between 3.25 and 3.5 stars. This was another really good match between Rollins and Dominic. However, it is time to move past this contest. I 100% agree with that. The story has run its course. The Messiah has clearly outperformed Dominic every time. Until Rey Mysterio is healthy, this feud needs to be put on hold. Murphy's story is far more interesting at the moment. The Messiah seemingly has turned against the disciple. While it is possible Murphy will still try to prove himself to Rollins for a little while longer, eventually he has to turn against Rollins. It might be Murphy's big break. So that's really all there is to say on that. So that was the fight of the night to me. 3.25, 3.5 stars. And then from there we had another matchup. We had Kevin Owens against Aleister Black. Unfortunately, I don't have a time of the fall for this one. So but I do believe it looked like it Kevin Owens picked up the win. So I don't have a time of the fall here. But from what I saw, this looked like another good match here. KO and Black. Well, I don't know about the time of the fall, but Didi Woodson, from what I saw, it looked like this was another good match here. I mean, I don't have a time. I'm sorry, but that's all I have.
I have about 4:30 or 4:40, somewhere along in that area for the time of the match. So it was definitely under 5 minutes. Short, but it was good. That they definitely. I think they did a better job this time than they did the last time these two faced off together. So yeah, like I said, in my opinion, I thought it was a wee bit short, but it definitely was a good match. I'm going to give it about 2.5 stars. So it's yours, Foyo.
Yeah, that's about right. KO and Black brought what they could to this match with limited time, but the contest was rushed with a flat finish. There is no reason these two should have a conclusive finish in their first match that had no hype. WWE needs to protect the Dutch Destroyer in his new heel role. Hopefully, this rivalry is far from over. The Retribution distraction somewhat helps Black's case for a rematch, even if it was an awkward way to extend the rivalry. The two men have brought so much to this story in spite of a lackluster spotlight. So that's really that's really all I can say on that. So MF, quick thought before we get into our next moment here.
Yeah. I mean, it was all right. It was pretty good, decent battle, and I think you pretty much summed it up, guys. So there's really nothing more to add. And yeah, all right, Floyo, it's yours.
All right. This was our other cutout of the night. The Riot Squad against Natalya and Lana. Riot Squad win the match in 1 minute and 15 seconds. But the women's tag team champions, they got into the Riot and Morgan's face, but then they attacked Natalya and Lana. Lana gets put through a table and the whole 9 yards. And yeah, okay. Let me see. This was an embarrassing waste of time. Lana and Natalya have been built up as a potential alliance, but they were immediately embarrassed by the Riot Squad. Adding injury to the insult, the women's tag team champions sent Lana through the announce table. That felt like a hard burial. And while it is good that the Riot Squad have found their stride as a team, it would be nice to see what they can do with time. Too often, the Riot Squad has been left with TV time remaining before the main event, which is less than 5 minutes. And you also noticed Lana got put through the table. Yeah, I think that was a shot at Miro. Because you remember, Miro told Vince McMahon to kiss his ass on the last Dynamite. And then his wife got put through a table on Raw. Coincidence? I think not. Or I should say, we think not. So we're just going to leave it at that. So, anyways, now to the main event of the evening. WWE Champion Drew McIntyre versus Keith Lee. Unfortunately, it ends in a no contest. 10 minutes and 15 seconds. That damn Retribution. They had to strike again. Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to NA this, even though it was a good match. McIntyre versus Lee is a money match for another time. The preview was nice, but they have better in them. Neither one was going all out by the end because the contest was never ending conclusively. Hopefully they get another chance in the next few months. Retribution returned to destroying everyone, but it seems the Hurt Business is the main group in their way. It is tough to follow this angle and who is involved. It would be nice if Retribution did more than cut cryptic promos, turn off the lights, and beat people up randomly. And of course, you all know how I feel about this. I mean, I'm still not very happy with this, and I just wanted to look into this real quick. When it comes to the ambulance matches, the history of the ambulance matches, we've only had a few. There was the one at the Survivor Series in 2003 with Kane and Shane McMahon. Then we also had John Cena and Kane in an ambulance match in 2012 at the Elimination Chamber, and then the third stage of that 3 stages of Hell match with John Cena and Ryback, Payback 2013. That was an ambulance match. And the last one that I can recall was the first Raw 2015 with Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley. That was an ambulance match. So there's been like about 4, maybe 5 tops, I want to say. So that's what we're going to see with Drew McIntyre against either Randy Orton or Keith Lee. It just depends on how they want to do it. So could it be a triple threat? I mean, it's a possibility, even though there is a possibility of a triple threat over on SmackDown for the Intercontinental belt, but we'll address that more on Friday, I'm sure. But that's really all I can say for right now. But it's going to have to be an NA, even though this thing was on the verge of possibly becoming Fight of the Night status here, no doubt about it. So nothing more for me to say. MF, if not for Retribution, the Scottish Psychopath and the Limitless one really could have stolen the damn show tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It is an automatic NA. The match does end in a no contest. And yeah, Retribution did get their nose where it didn't belong and interfered and cost us a great, what was going to be a great main event. Then one thing that you didn't talk about, which was a little surprising, was the Hurt Business.
I addressed the Hurt Business.
Well, yeah, the thing is, I don't understand what the deal is with the Hurt Business. I mean, look, great for them if they're trying to defend the honor of Monday Night Raw. I mean, that's the right thing to do, everything else. I just don't see what the Hurt Business gets out of trying to get involved in a situation against Retribution. And as you saw, the strength in numbers that basically what Retribution brought to the Hurt Business. Instead of the Hurt Business causing the hurt, they were the ones that were getting hurt. No pun intended. Until an incredible tope suicida by not just actually no, it wasn't a tope suicida. It was a tope con hilo.
Yes.
It was a tope con hilo that was done. Okay, Drew McIntyre, we've seen Drew McIntyre do a tope con hilo before. That was impressive. But Keith freaking Lee? What? Are you kidding me? You? God damn. Pardon my French. I apologize because I know I got 2 people who are very close with the Lord right now in the room. But my goodness. Are you kidding me? Take a bow, young man. That was a... Hoo-wee. Dang. Dee Woodson, I got nothing else to add. It's yours.
Yeah, Keith Lee is a freak of nature. I mean, he can do some stuff that's just amazing. But there, we've got several big guys that kind of can do that. But him doing that against, Hurt Business and Retribution, that's a whole different scenario, a whole different story. Um, yeah, I don't understand where they're going with Retribution. I don't understand where they're going with Hurt Business. None of that really makes a whole heck of a lot of sense. And especially with Hurt Business now sticking their nose in, wanting to, I guess, take control from the security on this. But it just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, this whole storyline has just been kind of very chaotic, and for me, I don't know if it's my age or what, but I mean, it's just all the chaotic stuff. Just it kind of just jumbles around there, and you can't figure any of it out. And I can sit here and watch them play with the lights, which I'm not too sure what that's supposed to actually be doing, other than just distracting. I mean, playing with the lights, that's not going to interrupt the show that much. I mean, we already have, Bray Wyatt, who turns the lights off right before he comes out. So, I mean, playing with the lights, that's not going to do much. And, you really don't see these guys anywhere around an area to where they can mess with the lights. So that don't make much sense unless they've got somebody hid somewhere that's doing it, or that's where their mastermind is. It's just there's a lot more questions with this storyline than there is answers. I mean, we're getting leaks on who the possible members are. They're saying Mia Yim's in there, and several guys from NXT. So yeah, I mean, it sounds like they're trying to build this on the fly. So yeah, not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Florio.
All right. Yeah, it definitely was an NA there, no doubt about it. But anyways, let's get into our overall thoughts this evening. And good old MF Michael Fletcher, we started off with you. I mean, it's been a while since we had a fairly decent show, but man alive, we had a fairly decent show. I mean, I thought all four of those main events delivered in one aspect or another.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought it was a solid Monday Night Raw. I thought it was a very good show. Was it perfect? No, it wasn't the perfect show, but it was a passable show. I could give this easily 7.5 out of 10. I think this was good enough for me. So, nothing more to add, Didi. It's yours.
Yeah, this was better than some of the others we've had. Like I said, we still had some areas that they need to address, they need to work on, they need to build a little bit better. And we've have some areas they need to wrap up and put the bow on. So hopefully that's a few things that they'll work on, but definitely storyline building show. Definitely can agree with Fletcher's rating on that. So good night, guys.
All right, night, Didi. We'll see you next time. And anyways, as far as I'm concerned, I definitely agree. This was 7 to 7.5. Overall, this was an improvement over last week, and I absolutely love that WWE did not just phone in this show, unlike last week. Last week was a holiday throwaway. This time around, they didn't phone it in, despite being opposed by the Monday Night Football doubleheader. It's not like they delivered any major storyline developments, but they did load up the show with some bigger matches. And it'll be interesting to see if their approach helped when the ratings come out tomorrow. But nonetheless, I'm very pleased with this show tonight. I mean, 4 quality matches. I mean, all 4 of those main events delivered in one aspect or another. You had a couple of good segments here and there, and probably and finally, Raw Underground for the very first time. Raw Underground was actually fun to watch for once, and that's all there is to say there. So I'll give SmackDown credit where it's due. I mean, for SmackDown to send their former Universal Champion in Braun Strowman. I mean, who would have thought it would take a SmackDown talent to get this little underground thing over? But next week, though, oh my goodness, that's got Be a Man and Hoss fight written all over it. So can't wait for that. So Tony's take, I got everything ready to go here, so we can get going here. Impact Wrestling, as always, starts it off, and here we go. You had Eric Young, the new World Heavyweight Champion, coming out, and then he gets interrupted by Eddie Edwards' wife, Alicia Edwards, and then he tries to go after her, and then Tommy Dreamer comes out, and all that. But there's a lot more coming in as far as that goes. A lot of backstage stuff, but we finally have a moment here. Chris Bay versus TJP. TJP wins the match, 7 minutes, 41 seconds, 2.25 stars. Good match to start off, though both guys were holding back a bit, and we had a sloppy moment or two. And I liked both of these guys. They did fine. The ending was a bit anticlimactic, but I imagine they didn't want Bay to be hurt by the loss. So really nothing more to say on that. The locker room talk with Madison Rayne and her guests were Kylie Ray and Susie. Nothing much to say there. So much backstage stuff now and whatnot. But here's another match. Willie Mack against Brian Myers. Brian Myers wins in 5 minutes and 21 seconds. 2-star match. Perfectly acceptable match that accomplished what it set out to do. Not sure that Myers needs to beat Mack twice, but the cheap way he won both times certainly protects Mack a bit. For a supposedly impromptu match, it wasn't really bad at all. World Tag Team titles on the line. Motor City Machine Guns against the Rascals. Motor City Machine Guns wins it in 8 minutes and 40 seconds. 3-star match. Super fast-paced match with some great innovative offense by both teams. The aggressive streak from both sides worked really well, and targeting Zachary Wentz's leg made for a good story in the match. Rascals were never going to win, but they looked good against the champs, and I have nothing to complain about here except for perhaps the Wentz knee not playing into the finish. But other than that, great matchup. No doubt about it. Tasha Steelz against Taya Valkyrie. Taya Valkyrie in 3 minutes and 39 seconds wins it. 1.5 match. It was as good as a 3.5-minute match could be. We'll love to see them go longer at some point because they work crisp against each other, but it was what it needed to be. And then the main event of the evening, a special challenge match, non-title, the World Heavyweight Champion Eric Young against Tommy Dreamer. Looked like it was an old school rules match. Eric Young won it in 10 minutes and 7 seconds, 2.25 stars. Old school rules matches are obviously the best way to use Dreamer if a match is needed. I like Tommy, but he's more limited in the ring now. Dreamer should not have been in a 10-minute main event match with the world champion at this point. It was fine. It did what it needed to do, but Tommy was too competitive here. It didn't hurt Eric Young, but I don't think it helped him either. But then Rich Swann came out after the match, and Rich Swann went after Eric Young. I think we all know what our Bound for Glory main event's going to be. That's all I know. 7 out of 10. It was a definite improvement over the previous week. The sluggish first hour was what killed it. We had a lot more in-ring wrestling, and one of them was that World Tag Team title match that was the fight of the night. On the whole, it was mostly filler or transitional material, and not Impact's best episode in recent memory, but it was still very solid overall. Next week on the show, we're going to see Kimberly and Deonna Purrazzo against Kylie Ray and Susie. Unfortunately, we will have to see Brian Myers against Willie Mack one more time. Triple XL against the Deaners. Kira Hogan against Taya Valkyrie. And an 8-man tag team matchup. The World Tag Team Champions, the Motor City Machine Guns, and the Rascals against the North, Ace Austin, Madman Fulton. That's got potential. So nothing more to say there. Let's get into 205 Live quick. It started with, the Ashante the Adonis. That's Tahuti Miles. He changed his name. He went up against D. Brian Kendrick. D. Brian Kendrick wins in 7 minutes and 37 seconds. It was a 2 3/4 star match. Solid, decent story, good action. Another loss from Adonis, but the story is that he's getting closer and closer. He made another mistake with the late pin attempt, and it cost him. And working matches with guys like Kendrick will help him. It will continue to help him. Everrise in a squash match, 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Enough said. Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch against Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza of Legado del Fantasma. Legado del Fantasma, they won it in 7 minutes and 16 seconds, 2.5 stars. It was a standard formula tag match that was solid. I was hoping for a little more. Everrise getting involved made sense from a storyline perspective, but took away from the finish. You would think a 3-way tag is coming from all this at some point. 6.5, just about a 6.5, 6 3/4 out of 10. It was a solid show, but it's really been hurt by the change to the 3-match format. You had that 2-match format going. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's what they did. I don't like the 3-match format. I like the 2-match format better. But it's been a bit of a give and take as they're getting storylines and angles for the division. But with 3 matches, the match times have been shorter. It's still an easy show to watch, but I'm hopeful when it comes time to blow off feuds, they will revisit the 1 or 2 match show formula to give the guys a bit more time. That's my only gripe. But other than that, 6.5 to 6 3/4 out of 10. That's the best I can go on that. So, all right. So that will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. We will be back with you on Wednesday night. And for the first time, folks, since August the 12th, AEW Dynamite and NXT will both be on the same night. Thank the Rockets and the Lakers for that. So that would have been the game 7 of their series. That's not needed. So we will have Dynamite and NXT. We're going to review both shows, but they'll both be on at the same time on Wednesday night. True Wednesday night war for the first time since August 12th. Thursday night. As you know, it is College Football Thursday. It's a very small docket. And because of that, we've got a bonus for you. We're also going to preview the NBA's conference finals. The Eastern Conference Finals is set, the Boston Celtics against the Miami Heat. And as far as the Western Conference Finals goes, the Los Angeles Lakers are there, but they don't have an opponent yet. That's because we have a winner-take-all game 7 tomorrow night with the Denver Nuggets and the Los Angeles Clippers. Whoever wins that will face the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. We'll preview both of those on Thursday night. But wait, there could be more. We might have the Stanley Cup Finals as well, because tonight, the Dallas Stars, they did it. The Cinderella Stars did it again tonight. They put away the Vegas Golden Knights 3-2 in sudden death overtime. First time in 20 years, the Dallas Stars are going to the Stanley Cup Finals. Unbelievable. And who knows, maybe tomorrow night, the Tampa Bay Lightning, could they follow suit? They're up 3-1 on the Islanders. And if that's the case, well, then we will have a Stanley Cup final preview as well. So we might have a big show on Thursday after all. Friday, Cerebral Smack Talk. MF has that. We'll get into Friday Night SmackDown as always. Sasha Banks is back. We're going to hear from the boss for the first time since that horrific beatdown at the hands of Bayley. And of course, the latest in the Roman Reigns and Jey Uso saga and whatever else they decide to do. And then Saturday night, NFL Saturday, week 2 action. And we'll also talk about that Thursday night game with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns. So there you have that. So and then we'll be back here for Raw next week. So, and it'll be the go-home show for Clash of Champions. So we'll see what happens. So that's it. So until Wednesday night, for Wednesday Night Mayhem, over on MF channel, BraceFan95, it's Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, the Phenom Michael Bullock, the Twisted Angel D.D. Woodson, and always and forever, the Hardcore Pipe, I'm Derek Ferrera. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up, punch your poor style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night for Mayhem, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you, beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.